Welcome to another episode of the Platform Podcast. It's been a minute since it's just been me and you, Will.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be good to just sit down, catch up, see how things are going.
Yeah, because like for the last, 2 months really, we've just had guest after guest after guest, and it's been great.
It's been great. Yeah, everyone's been coming back from college, and we got to catch up with a bunch of our athletes, and obviously Andy was here. That was great.
Yeah, I was actually just talking to him before.
Yeah.
He's back in Canada right now, asking when can we come over.
Yeah, I know we got to get over there.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. Like Andy's actually, for those listening, Andy's our video analysis for soccer. He's fantastic at what he does. Worked with the New Zealand Ferns team in the World Cup recently, and he also connects us with a lot of different academies, not just in New Zealand but around the world. So he's connected us with some great people in Canada. But he actually said to me, "There's this guy that we need to get on a podcast. His name is Jake, and he went to UCLA, and then he played with Beckham at LA Galaxy, and he wants to talk about how college impacted his professional playing career in a really positive way." And I was like, mate, we've got to get him on a pod.
Yeah,
So-
100%. Yeah, so what are we going to chat about?
Well,
Obviously,
we've got a lot of things to chat about today, Will. I've actually become, usually I'm not very organised. I mean, if you listen to the podcast with me and Ajit, it was all over the place. But I've actually written some notes down here on my phone that I want to go through. The first one, we've got quite a lot of content to get through today, so let's just dive into it, The new sport that we launched.
yeah,
Tell us about
controversial
that, Will.
sport, but I mean, it's something that, is actually taking the entire world by storm, and that's esports. I mean,
Esports. What is esports for people that don't know what esports is?
so esports is, I'm sure everyone knows what it is, but I mean, it's just when you get online gaming. Gaming is such a popular thing at the moment that they've turned it into an actual sport, and there's actual athletes that
There's
get
big
to
money
play.
behind it now, man.
Huge money. Well, I mean, I remember I was doing a bit of research when we started and looking into kind of the professional esports scene, and this is so the last place at the Fortnite World Cup got $80,000. The last place.
Is that US?
Yeah.
Wow. Not bad.
Yeah.
See, I told you, Mum.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had that kind of support
Yeah.
back when I was in my Fortnite days.
That's absolutely crazy, man. I mean, esports is blowing up. I mean, just the other day, I was at... Oh, that's my mum trying to call me. Just the other day, I was at my apartment, and I had my brother come over, and he just flew back from Hong Kong. He was only at my apartment for like one night, and then he flew down to Invercargill. I'm actually going there tomorrow to watch him play Davis Cup. And his friend Connor Williamson, great kid, I've known him for years. He comes up, and I'm actually on my couch playing.
Yeah,
Xbox.
you sent me a video.
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
Yeah, I was playing Xbox on my couch. I've only just started getting back into it because of this esports thing. It's good. And Connor goes, "Oh, bro, you got an Xbox?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. I just brought it up from home. Like, Ajit gave it to me." He goes, "You know the college that I went to, Winthrop University?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "They're fully funded with esports scholarships."
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm like, "You serious?" And he goes, "Yeah, man. Like, there's kids on the esports team that were getting better scholarships than me, and I was on the tennis team, and I was traveling with them. I was like, that's unreal."
Because I saw a TikTok, and it was a guy on the Syracuse esports team, and he was doing like a day in the life or whatever, and it was so funny. Like, he has like hand stretching machines and like all this carry on, and they've got custom. I think it was a PS5 controller, and there were Syracuse colors with the Syracuse logo, like all decked out. Like these, that's it's like you think. For me, lacrosse, right? One of the big aspects is the gear and getting, custom gear with the college logos on it, and it all looks sick. But you can actually do that with esports, and by having custom controllers and custom Xboxes and all that kind of jazz. So it's super cool. And I mean, the sports, the games that they're doing, I was looking into it, things like Rocket League, they got 2K, League of Legends is obviously the big one, Valorant, Rainbow Six Siege. There's so many games, and that's what I think's incredible about the esports is that, you don't just have to be good at one thing. For tennis, like, you have to be a good tennis player. You got to win, but whereas esports is you can be, good at every game and then, just compete on a, competitive scale. I mean, I used to play competitive League of Legends back in the day, but I didn't know that there was a pathway to get free education.
No, it's crazy. And it's great to see that there's a lot of good people in New Zealand driving it. And even college sport Wellington, college sport Auckland, college sport, etc. That the sporting associations that are the governing bodies for high schooling programs, they're promoting it.
Yeah, well,
Like,
you see Auckland Uni, they just, and
Yeah.
Red Bull partnered with Red Bull,
Did they
Auckland
actually?
Uni, and they've got
No
like a
way.
full, and there's like an F1 simulator in this
Wow.
Auckland Uni esports team, you know,
Yeah.
and I mean, we're going to partner with some pretty cool guys in the esports space that have,
Yeah, we can't announce anything formally yet, but
Yeah.
Will's managed to cook something up pretty nicely for the
so
platform
it's
team.
going to be
so-
pretty unreal, and
Yeah.
and you know, now being able to provide a pathway, because a lot of these guys that think, oh, okay, I love gaming, I love, you know, I don't love the physical sports, you know,
Yeah.
where I'm getting beaten up or, you know, have to go out and exercise and do that kind of thing. Like, that's not for everyone.
No.
But now that it's opening up the doors for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, like, why, you know, you might not be the biggest or the strongest or the fastest, but, you know, you're really good at Rocket League. And now there's a pathway for those people, whereas before there wasn't.
100%. And look, this is a game of going to America, getting an education, and paying as less as possible.
Yeah.
And if you can do that playing esports, go and do it.
Go for it. If I could do it, I would.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get good at Rocket League.
I can't wait to make the highlight videos.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's going to be epic.
And we can get them in, and we can start playing some. Well, that's what we're planning on doing soon, aren't we?
Yeah, we were actually going to live stream it. We're going to do it on Twitch.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, if there was a live stream on me on anything, I think we'd get a lot of views of how bad I am.
Yeah. I mean, it can't be much worse than my golf effort the
Yeah.
other week. And that was something that's going to come out soon, I think. Is it?
I don't know. Stefan, what do you reckon? Producer Stefan behind the laptop.
Potentially, we need to take another look at the footage.
Yeah, the footage is pretty dusty, but Stefan, who was the MVP? Because everyone was calling me out on Instagram that Will's gonna.
Hey, look, I'll take it. Stefan, you don't even need to answer. Like, Amrit, you're bloody good at golf, mate.
Thanks, mate.
You are good, and it surprised me. Because you didn't
promised myself I wasn't gonna cry.
Yeah, I mean, your backswing's so slow, and I'm like, oh, he's not gonna hit, and then you just like unleash a beast, and it's
Well, look, I have to give credit to my uncle Rajan. Growing up in a golfing family, you can say definitely helped, and all
Yeah.
my cousins are way better than me.
yeah. Oh, I mean, my dad hasn't touched a golf club.
Yeah. But,
Um,
oh well. Look, esports, mate. Very
Big.
exciting.
Very
Very
exciting.
exciting. I think there's a massive future in it, which is great. Next, let's just touch on a couple of our key athletes this week that have just performed extremely
Yeah.
well. I mean, let's the first one, Ronan, win.
yeah,
He just continues to
unreal.
impress
Unreal.
and make a name for himself.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good accolade. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, we helped Ronan. I started working with him when he was in his sophomore year in high school, so like still 3 years away. And he had just moved from Auckland to Wellington for an opportunity with the Wellington Phoenix team and the reserve team. And I remember meeting his mum and dad, and also Ronan was there on Cuba Street. We're having a coffee. This is when I used to live in Wellington. And my good friend Chris Zoricic he facilitated the meeting and said, look, I know there's a number of companies. I trust Amrit. So that was awesome to catch up with Ronan. And Zorro always told me, he's like, Amrit, this kid, he's going to go on and do something real special. And I believe, yeah. And the thing with Chris Zoricic, mate, is like, he's so black and white. He just says it as it is. There's no pat on the back just for the sake of it. Like, if you did well,
No
you do
participation
well.
medals.
No, exactly, man. If you do well, he'll tell you did well. If you need to improve on something, he'll tell you go and improve on something. And he said to me, this kid is going to go and do some great things. His older brother had already played for the All Whites at this time, Declan. Like, his family are a bunch of great academics and also athletic people as well. And one thing I really respected about Ronan was that his parents, the way that they brought him up, they were very supportive, but they made sure that Ronan drove it.
Worked for it, yeah.
Exactly. Like, they didn't pump Ronan up to a point where he had a big ego or anything like that. They were just real honest people, real hardworking people, came from South Africa, and just said, look, Ronan, if you want it, go get it. And he got it all right. I mean, at Denver, he's been having a great career. He's just coming back from injury, so he didn't get to play at the qualifiers recently here in New Zealand. But he got named in the starting 11 out of all the players in NCAA Division 1. And not only that, he was also voted amongst coaches in the top 10 of players to watch out for this coming season. It's a shame he's injured at the moment, but he will be back.
And last year, didn't Defensive Player of the
Oh,
Year.
yeah. I mean,
You know,
yeah, I got Stefan to do an Instagram post on Ronan, and there was like, Stefan was running out of room to put graphics on the background.
and it shows what happens with hard work. You know,
Yeah.
like, yes, he's talented, and yeah, he's got the genetics that help him, but that's not gonna get you to where he is.
Bro,
you know?
talent only takes you some of the way.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the fact, and it's just a testament to his character and how he was brought up. And, I love that for him. And on saying that, there's also some freshmen that have touched base in the US this past month and have really performed. Caitlin, for one.
Yeah, Caitlin Picorni, track and field athlete. She's gone in there. I think we did the stats on her.
Yeah.
She finished in the top, was it 11.25%? No, sorry, top 25%.
Top 25%.
Yeah, she finished top 25% of her first race.
Cross-country meet, yeah.
Yeah, which was absolutely incredible. And she's gone over there to do some amazing things. It wasn't so long ago, mate. She came into this office when
it was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, to get her bag tags,
Yeah.
her platform bag tags that we give our athletes. And she was just saying how excited she was. And now here she is over there competing.
Yeah.
How does that feel for you, man?
It's super rewarding because we helped we help them. They're going to go on and do great things, and now we kind of take a step back and let them go and do live the dream. But just knowing that we were a part of that process is super rewarding, and I love it. And another success story, Ryan Courtney, he's gone over there.
Golfer, the guy was just shooting in the 90s 3 years ago,
and now he's top seeding his college team at a Division II program. That's insane. I was actually talking to Rich, his coach, the other day, just asking
mate,
him
he loves you, eh?
Yeah, how Ryan's going. He's keen to get me over, but he's like, mate, this kid's amazing. He's everything that we wanted and more. He's come in, he's just put his head down, he's just working hard, in the gym, out on the course, in the classroom. Like he's going to go on and do amazing things. He's one that I'm really excited to kind of
it's interesting, right? Because I know we believed in Ryan when he said to us, can I go to the States? I'm like, of course you can go to the States. Like, let's do this, brother. Are you willing to work hard and give 110% of your best effort? He goes, absolutely. I'm like, well, then game on.
Yeah.
Sign the contract. Let's get into it. And he's gone over there and done it. He's not just talk the talk, he's walked the walk. And I had a parent, we won't name this parent, we had a parent that was absolutely shocked that with his tournament average, he got a scholarship in the States. And it just proves that you can do this.
It's something that we deal with when we talk to these athletes that want to come on board and are just exploring this opportunity. A lot of them, when I'll talk to them, they'll be like, I didn't know that there was a pathway for me. I thought you had to be the best of the best in order to get to college, but that's just not the truth. And especially being from New Zealand, it's just such an unknown, and there's so much that goes into it that you don't realize, and it's just about having someone in your corner that's going to tell you can do it and then help you do it.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and who else has been
Will O'Connor
over there?
Will O'Connor, he signed up with me very late, like at the end of his year 13 year in Wellington, when he finished high school in Wellington. For those in Australia and around the world listening to this, that's his senior year in high school. And he said, I want to go to college in the next 6 months. And I was like, mate, your averages are real good, but most D1 programs are locked in. And he said, look, can we just run it back and see what we can get? I was like, all right, give me a second. I'll see what I can do. Got him to a Division I program in Texas. Did really well there, but it was a stepping stone for him. Yeah. He used it as an opportunity to really put some good tournament scores together. And then at the end of that year, he said, I'm keen to go again. And at the time, our golf recruiter, David Trainer, who's the former Akron and Kentucky D1 golf coach, was working with us as a placement officer, placing our athletes into trusted college environments. And David goes, Amrit, I've got some good news and bad news. The good news is that, I'm going to get Will sorted with his college placement. The bad news is that I can't work with you anymore. I said, well, why not? He said, I'm going to Boise State. I said, mate, that's fantastic. I know a lot of people at Boise State because we know Ali there at the time. Yeah. We had tennis players at Rio Minicata in the men's tennis team, Holly Stewart in the women's tennis team. And I said, that's fantastic. They've got a good esports program, by the way.
It's a cool school. Yeah. It is a cool school.
Yeah. And David said, the good news is that I'm signing Will O'Connor. I was like, great. And since then, Will's done amazing. They've got their own hospital on campus, man. Ridiculous facilities. And here's one for you. They've got a dog that runs out the tee every time to the kicker in front of their big American football stadium. It's nice. Trained to do it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there are, Colorado, the football team with Deion Sanders, that's all the wave at the moment. And you see they released a buffalo into the stadium. Yeah. You think all this health and safety and everything, and they just release a buffalo into the stadium. I was cracking up. I thought it was awesome.
It's wild and
college traditions, eh?
But Will O'Connor's gone there. He's got his teeth stuck in, mate, and he's put some really good tournament scores this week. He shot really, really well. So shout out to Will O'Connor.
I think it was a 67, 69, and 71. which is
Yep. His dad's such a great guy as well, Mark. I mean, he was great to deal with throughout this entire recruitment process and often keep in touch with him. And I want to give a big shout out to Kaya Ronganui. I mean,
if you follow our Instagram, you would have seen it.
Absolute screamer.
Yeah.
Scored a blinder against Brown University. I mean, Fairfield University is a fantastic school. We've got a swimmer there. We've got a tennis player there as well, which is great. And Kaya's over there making waves, man.
Yeah.
Waving the Kiwi flag.
Getting highlights. Like, I mean, I don't know much about soccer, but that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was decent.
You know, when you look at a clip and it makes you go, wow,
Yeah.
you know, that's when you're kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah,
Bro, you know that two of our students got on ESPN once?
Yeah.
On Sports Centre as well. It was Sean Green and Daniel Edwards. Do you remember that?
Yeah. No,
were you part of platform?
No.
Okay, I don't think you were, bro. So, Daniel, it was at Missouri State. No, was it? No, sorry. It was Sean Green and Tyler Hornsby. It was at Winthrop University. They were both on the soccer team. And it was in like near full time. And Sean noticed that the goalkeeper for the opposing team was right up against the box line, like right at the front, and kind of outside. So Tyler, our soccer player, whose father, Mike Hornsby, we also do some work with, great man. Tyler passed it, kicked it off to Sean. Sean just turned and smacked it from halfway and pegged it behind the goalkeeper. It got a goal.
That's nuts.
And then I'm seeing this on Sports Sense, and I'm like, oh my God, this is such a cool goal. And it was trending on Instagram. And I was like, hey, I know that guy. And then I was like, I know that other guy as well. My boys.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. Well, I mean, one of my boys, one of my mates, Cruz, he got it at his time at University of South Dakota. He got on Sports Center, and that was just the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
You know, just seeing people that you know on the biggest highlight kind of reel in the world is ESPN Sports Center. So, you know, that's pretty cool. It's pretty, but yeah, our athletes are doing great, and we're super stoked. I mean, I get to spend, you know, every morning just checking in and looking at all the scores and seeing how everyone's going, and it's pretty awesome. I mean, we have some real good athletes, and it's just as simple as that. We have some real talented athletes that work hard, and it shows.
Do you reckon you could have either been on ESPN with your talent, or you're not gifted enough?
I don't think I'm genetically gifted enough. I mean, I would have loved to. And lacrosse is
What about that knockout that he got?
Yeah, cheers, Max. Yeah, that was a good one. No, that wouldn't have been on Sports Center. That
would have been on Smash 'em, bro.
Oh, it would have. Yeah, it would have been on Shacked in a Fool. Like that was awful. That wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't my.
You went out there in San Diego during the World Cup, breaking some ankles, sidestepping some people, were you? Or?
Yeah, I mean, maybe my 7-second goal against South Korea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, scored within the first 7 seconds of the game.
Actually, no, I did see that. I was watching it at home.
Yeah,
I did see that.
That's
that was good.
ESPN.
All right, we're gonna waffle for ages. Let's dig into some really important topics. So I've just written down on my phone here. What's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things, and we're just gonna. I'll say the statement, and then we're just gonna discuss it because I think it's really, really important for parents and athletes to hear what we're about to say. The first one is surrounding yourself around people who are better than you. How important do you reckon that is?
I think it's pretty integral part of life. You know, like, yes, you can apply it to your sport, but it's also just in life in general. You know, like, are you going to be around people that want to get up and work and, you know, push themselves to the limit? Or are you going to be with people that are quite, you know, are coasting? You know, where are you going to get the best results?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think that, like, even speaking from my own experience, you know, I started this company when I was 22. I was really, really young when I started it with zero business experience. And my success has been because of the people that I surrounded myself by. Clint Packer owned the tennis coaching rights of a $10 million tennis facility in Wellington, and that's where I was working at the time. I had my uncles that, you know, owned one of the biggest law firms in Taranaki. I had friends of mine that had exceeded in the corporate world to rely on as well. Like all of my friends that are like my core group of boys that I went to university with. Like
yeah,
my
I
mate,
met them.
Yeah, like my mate Moose, Jonesy, my cousin Kishan, Jack Williams, Jack Lawrenson. They're all earning bank, working really hard, but they're really good people and got good values, and they treat their parents very, very well. And I feel like a part of my success as a person has been because I've been around that environment where they've got their head screwed on. They're not. I mean, sure. Like, do we like to rip the lid off now and then and go and have a good time? Of course, but it's about being mature. It's about making good decisions. And when I'm
working hard, that's I don't know. I do actually. Like, I mean, my grandfather is one of the hardest working people I've ever seen. And that's kind of, I've seen that, and now I know that if you're got similar work ethic, you're someone I want to be around. The flat I live in at the moment, all the boys are just we're all in our early 20s, but we're all grinding to maximize our careers. So it's a really good space to grow and throw ideas around, and that's where you get success from, and that applies to sport. I make sure that when I'm coaching my boys, and I say, hey, look, it's going out for running, it's an integral part of the game for lacrosse, being fit and having that cardio. Why don't you get a group of guys together and run together as a team? And that's where that team environment comes in. If your team wants to succeed, and pull each other along, people might not have the work ethic, but if you can lead from the front and be that example, that's where you're going to succeed. And that's what coaches look for.
100%. And I feel like a lot of athletes perform better when they get pushed up into higher levels. There's a reason why people swim really well in the deep end.
Yeah.
And it's because they're forced to get the best out of themselves. Like, you have to.
Yeah.
And if you're surrounding yourself with people that love training, love working hard, compete at the highest possible level, you're going to reach your goals that much faster.
Yeah. Well, and that was a main reason for why I wanted to go to America, because the lacrosse scene in New Zealand is quite small. I was playing in high school. I mean, Rosmini, my whole time there, we didn't lose a single game, of lacrosse. Like, we just, that was because we were good and that we reached that ceiling, and then it was like,
because you said that when you went to America, you went over there with a bit of a playing ego, like you thought you were really good.
Because I was the best here,
and then you went over,
and then I got there and I was like, wow, it was a real reality check, and and that's one of the things that I'm making sure that we prepare all of our athletes for that are going over, is to know that nothing's given, everything's earned. You have to earn every single minute that you play, every single tournament that you get to travel to, all of that kind of stuff is. And how do you do that? Is by surrounding yourself with people that want that same goal. And for me, it was in the lacrosse scene, I'd reached the point, so I was like, I need to go and increase my ceiling. And how do I do that? Is by going and playing with the best. There was a guy on my team that went professional. Carson, I caught up with him when I was in San Diego. He's an absolute wizard, and the fact that I got to spend a year with him and learning and taking all that stuff, I've been able to bring it back and translate it, to younger athletes and to the under 18s that I coach and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it's also not just, don't expect, like, for those that listen to this, don't just expect to go into these, like, be like, okay, I heard Amrit at World talk about this, I'm inspired, I'm going to go and position myself with these great group of people. Like, it's great positioning yourself, but you actually have to work.
Yeah.
Like, being in a good group of people helps you get there to your goal a little bit quicker. But it's with the consistency, with the determination, and that just dog work ethic. If you've got that, then you're just going to go and over exceed on what you actually expected yourself to perform like.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you go and jump into an organization or a friend group or a team, and that's really great, but you're not willing to put in your 2 cents, or you're not willing to put in your work.
Nah, it starts with you.
Those guys are going to leave you behind.
Yeah.
And that's the case. I've left multiple people behind in my life just because they're not willing to put in the mahi that I am.
You see, like, an amazing team like the Los Angeles Lakers, right? A lot of money, great facilities, the best coaching staff, support staff, mental staff, all the equipment you want. What separated Kobe Bryant from the other ones was his ability to go and do more work than anyone else and go above and beyond the expected norm. Whereas some of the other athletes in the Lakers just checked in, got the salary and just relaxed. So yes, being in the environment is important. It helps you, but you have to put in the work as well to get the best out of yourself, for sure. The next one I want to talk about is too much noise, focus on the task at hand. I mean, we get a lot of athletes at the moment that are all about, I want to go to this college, I want to go to that college, I want to go to this college, but they look at a lot of external things, right? They want to go to the best, facilities and all that sort of stuff, which I get, but they forget to look internally what's really important, like making sure you're performing well, your nutrition's right, your mental's right, and you're going and competing, because if you do those internal factors really well, your externals will automatically come into play, right?
Yeah. And especially for the sports, you know, where it's an individual sport, you know, that's a lot more relevant when it comes to, you know, your golf and tennis, and, you know, if you can swimming, you know, anything like that, if you can shut off that noise and just focus on the task at hand, the rest of it's going to fall into place.
Because there's always things like, even like in team sports, I want to play in that team. I want to do this. Why am I not getting selected for this? It's like, look, unfortunately, we live in a society where things are political. Sporting systems are political.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just in New Zealand, it's all around the world. I've seen it, and I've got a lot of friends that have been stitched up by it. And you have to have the ability just to kind of ignore that and just work really hard on yourself and the internal factors, the ones that are really important to you. Even if you're like playing in, let's say, a golf tournament, a lot of people are worried about the outcome as opposed to worrying about the moment. And I feel like if the more you focus on the moment, what's at hand, what's in front of you right now, the other things will come.
Yeah, that's a really good point how you put that, and that's something that I use, like especially in this last under-18 tournament when, you know, the first game we got smashed, and I sat down.
What do you call smash? What was the score?
It was like 12-3.
Okay.
You know, like it was and then I sat down. I had a leadership group. My team was very split. We had a lot of older senior guys like Scotty and Murdoch and those guys, and then we had our younger guys, our 14, 15-year-olds, and, you know, I sat down with the leadership group and I said, look, what went wrong? And they said, oh, we needed to win. So they were going to do, you know, they tried picking up from what the younger guys were lacking and focusing on the younger guys. Whereas I just sat there and I was like, look, what's your job? You know, focus on your job. Break it down. What's your job? If your job's to score goals, don't go trying to defend for old mate that couldn't pick it up. You know, focus on your job and the rest will fall into place. And we saw it. By the end of it, we only lost by 1 point on that final game against a top side. You know, and for us, that was, you know, the most rewarding thing for me is just seeing that progression in the athlete's mindset. Whereas, like, if I do my job, you know, they're going to think, you know, the younger guys are going to follow that. They're going to be like, look, I don't want to mess it up for Scotty. You know, it's his last under-18 campaign. These 14-year-olds are going to look at that and be like, you know, look, I don't want to. And that's how you be a leader. You know, just do your job. And that's why Richie McCaw was so good.
Bro, I'm like I'm my own worst enemy sometimes, because like as a young 22-year-old, I always dreamed of having the biggest agency in the South Pacific, right? And I used to focus on it all the time and be like, how do I get to become the biggest agency ever? And it used to stress me out. Like, I'm talking sleepless nights. Bro, you can see my grey hair. It's coming through, man. Yeah. And my parents saw it. Like, my siblings saw it. I was getting really stressed. And then I was like, hang on. I'm focusing here on the wrong thing. I'm focusing on the end result, which is having that flag that I am the biggest and most trusted sports recruitment company in the South Pacific, to what am I doing today? What process am I doing today to ensure that we deliver the most effective service that will automatically grant me that flag at the end of this journey? And a lot of athletes do this the same. I was talking to my brother about this. You know, we had him on the podcast, and my brother's getting ready for Davis Cup. I think they're playing tomorrow, actually, against Thailand. And he's like, man, I used to worry about, what if I don't win this match? What will people think of me? What will the social media ninjas post about me on Insta stories? Because my brother gets DMs all the time, horrible DMs all the time, because people can bet on his matches.
I mean, we get horrible stuff at platform even. You know, people are just horrible.
Yeah, people be like, why do you need to use an agency? Like, they kind of discredit using us without even knowing what we do. We talked about this yesterday. We're not going to go into details about that. But, you know, at the end of the day, you can't worry about the end result. You just got to focus on the present. Tiger Woods said it now. He said, the reason for my success was my ability to stay in the present. And I was like, oof, that's harder. It's really, really hard.
Oh, it's tough.
It's not easy.
No.
It's so, and like, as soon as you do really well, your mind just drifts off into the future. Or imagine when I do X, Y, and Z. But you just got to stay in the present and just hustle. And you know who did that really well? Dylan Wood, our former soccer recruitment manager at Platform Sports, still a really good friend of mine. Went to Metro State Denver, and he's like, you know what? I don't really want to go to a D2, but I'll go to a D2 and play college soccer. Just kept his head down, worked. After 2 years, he got that ticket to UC Davis. Yeah. He earned that.
Awesome. Yeah.
And that's by him not looking around, complaining. That's just him doing the work.
Well, that was going to be my pathway as well. Unfortunately, you know, I got affected by COVID, but
yeah, you got stitched up there.
You know, I knew that I was going over, and my job was to try and get as far as possible. You know, I had this untapped ceiling and this untapped potential that I knew the resources that I was going to have over at college were going to get me there. So I just kind of looked at it like, I'm just going to put my head down. You know, I was the one that was getting the boys up and before lift to go down and do some stretching or go for the runs and all of that kind of jazz. And my goal was to finish at a D1. I knew it's, you know, not about where you start, it's about where you finish.
The next prompt that I want to talk about is verbally commit now on a deal with the college, or should you wait? So let's say you're in your senior year in high school. What month is it? September, right? So 2024 August kids for next year, they can't sign until November onwards. So let's say colleges give you a verbal offer. William, do you take it, or do you wait and see what other options are out there? Let's discuss this.
It is what I am going to say, and it's really diplomatic, is that it's a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
You know, it does come down to the athlete and, you know, what the job is and what they want to get out of it. You know, if it falls in the lap that it's a great program and a great scholarship and, you know, the offer's awesome and everything's worked out great, absolutely. You know, absolutely. But what I'm going to say is don't rush into it, because as soon as you rush into it, you're not taking in every little factor, you know, and that's something that we make sure all of our athletes take in every little part. Have you done every single campus tour, virtual, in person, whatever you can, to make sure that it's the right call, because it is such a huge decision. You know, the next 4 years of your life are going to be warranted by, you know, where you're going to college. So it's about making sure you do every little part of due diligence possible before verbally committing.
Yeah, and I think you need to understand that, like, figure out, what are your goals, like why you wanted to do this, and the next part of it is, are these offers that I'm getting, am I getting a good return on my investment, which is the time that you're spending at that college? Are you getting a good return on that? Are you getting competition time? Are you going to be a better athlete? Are you academically going to be set up? Is it going to help you with the next step, whether it's to transfer to another school or to graduate from that university and get an amazing job, or use that university for 4 years and then go professional and just keep developing as an athlete? Like, does that meet your goals? And if it does, absolutely fantastic. And I feel like some athletes, when they start to get a few good offers coming through, brackets around good, like that ticks all off their 4 pillars of college recruitment. Sometimes if you wait too long, the risk is that you're going to allow time for other recruitment agencies from around the world and other athletes that are wanting the same thing that you want, and you're allowing them to enter that conversation with a coach. If you've got a lot of really good options in front of you, as Will said, do your due diligence, and it's before November and you're ready to rock and roll, you got the offers there, it's all written down, you've spoken to the coach, your parents have spoken to the coach, you've spoken to athletes in the team, and everyone's happy, make a decision if it's really good. Like, verbally commit and lock that in.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the coaches don't wait around. And that's, you know, unless you can obviously, you know, coaches will say it's not a, you know, commit on the spot kind of deal. You know, we've got athletes that have been, you know, been told, look, you've got a month, 2 months.
Didn't we have that yesterday?
Yeah. And, you know, it's a great offer from a great school. And, you know, that's definitely, and, you know, I was talking to the athlete and, you know, she really likes it and likes the coach. Everything's ticking up, but it's just you know, just take a breath. You know, it's a big deal. It's just take a breath. Let's make sure we tick every single box. Because, you know, if we don't tick every single box, or at least check every single box, then, you know, you might get there and it's not what you were expecting. And that's the worst case scenario. Yeah,
I think timing is really important. Like, if contracts can be offered in November and you get a verbal offer, let's say in March, and you've still got so many months to go before signing, then you've got more of an opportunity to wait a little bit longer, maybe develop in your sport, maybe get better schools if you feel like the school that you've got isn't ticking your 4 pillars of college recruitment, or you're not getting a return on investment, you can wait. But if you're coming up to September, October, then it's like, okay, this is game time here. Like, I've performed at the highest possible level. My CV's the best it's ever been. And these are the offers that I got. Like, I'm going to have to pick one of these ones. So that's kind of like how I look at it. I mean, look, Matty Iro, verbally committed to High Point. That was done ages ago.
It was like March.
Yeah, that was ages ago.
But that's a top Division 1 school.
Exactly, and it was a right fit for her. But then we've had other athletes, like we won't name this person or the sport, obviously, but we had one of our recruits been given an offer from an NCAA Division 2 school. And what did I say? I went on a video call with the person and their dad, and I said, no, This college is absolutely subpar.
Yeah.
It will be completely negligent for me to advise you to take this deal. You're good. Let's wait.
Yeah, and now now they're talking to great schools. Yeah. Or even a case last year with one of our athletes that, you know, wasn't getting the looks that, you know, he wanted at the time. And, you know, he was stressing out. And you know,
we can talk about him.
Yeah,
I know. You're talking about
Liam.
Yeah.
You know,
you can talk about Liam. Liam's a great case.
Yeah.
I mean, Liam Judkins is fantastic, and shout out to Liam, mate. You're brilliant, mate, and your parents are awesome people. Great to work with. And I mean, he was looking at JUCOs, D2s, and he was like,
that was what we thought was the case. And
well, considering that he signed up with us in December after his year 13 year, and he wanted to go in August, it was very much a sprint, and. Yeah, just waited it out, and the right deal came, and now where's he? Northridge.
Yeah, California State Northridge. You know, top. You know, 150 ranked Division 1 program. Yeah, you know, like was our, you know, because we showed patience and because we waited it out. You know, the offer will come, and that's something that, you know, there are so many opportunities.
But you have to have the CV to back it up. Liam did. Yeah, like I know Liam didn't play many tournaments because of COVID as well and that sort of thing, but he had the CV to back it up. If you've got the CV to back it up, sure, wait. If you don't have the CV back it up, don't take what we just said on board. Yeah, like if there's a good deal in front of you, grab it with two hands and go for it. If you do not have the CV to get better deals, this kid did. Yeah. And I think the CV, the academics and the sporting resume dictate the window when you should commit to a program. But look, I mean, everyone's different. Matty Iro, soccer player, verbally committed months before November.
Zach.
Yeah, Zach Swanwick, University of Florida, committed at the end of in the start of year 13 in his final year of high school. Then he committed with University of Florida. The ceiling was there. Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to get a better program. I love the coach. I love the facilities. This is what I want to do. Hannah Blake, University of Michigan. Melissa Cohen, swimmer in New Zealand, one of our recruits. She committed to University of Florida on the exact same thing. Jack Lautitz, tennis player. He verbally committed with Kentucky in his year 12 year or in his junior year in high school. So. Everyone's different. Everyone's got a different window. You can verbally commit early if you want to, but you have to make sure that they tick your family's requirements in your ideal school, or you can wait it out. But I think if you're listening to this and you're working with recruitment agencies or you're doing this on your own, you know, talk to your friends, talk to your recruitment agents and
talk
say,
to us.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got any questions, just DM us on Instagram at Platform Sports Management and we'll help you out for sure. Absolutely. But it's a tough one. There's no right answer for that, is there?
And that's what I said at the start. It is a case-by-case basis.
Like I said, I'm going to throw some pretty out-the-gate prompts at you, Will.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, even look at Kyle Parker. You know, like...
Who's Kyle Parker for the audience?
So, Kyle Parker, he's one of my lacrosse boys, you know, from the Waikato. Absolutely great kid, played under-18s, and out of the under-18s tournament in 2022, he got recruited to a Division 3 school. And it was, you know, he... didn't, and to be fair, I didn't know that he was going through it as well, and he just took the deal, away he went, and you know, it wasn't kind of what he was hoping for. So we sat down and when he was over there, and then we kind of worked out what he wants and, you know, how we can get there. And his CV is so much better than where he was, and now he's, you know, playing at a Division 2 school in Colorado, getting, you know, he's going to have great resources with a great coach.
Yeah, on like a 95% plus deal.
Yeah, you know, like it's crazy, just that lack of knowledge around what you want, and that's why we're great. And you know, just to toot our own horn, because that's what we work out. We work out what you value more, and then how can we facilitate that.
Yeah, this is going to be a sticky one, but here we go. Play or ride the bench in a better school. So would you rather play in the starting lineup of a sports team at a college in America, or go to a better college program and sit on the bench for a year? What would you do?
It's for me. It's always what you want to get out of it. You know, what do you want? You know, for me, you know, going over and spending this money to go over and play lacrosse, I wanted to play. You know, I didn't want to just ride the bench. I wanted to play. So I went to a program where you knew if I worked hard enough, I could get that starting spot. And for a lot of athletes, and it's a cost thing as well. You know, if you're going to a better program where you're not as good, you know, the cost is probably going to be more. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Whereas, why don't you get that exposure and get that experience, you know, playing at a good school that might not be, you know, a top school, but it's a good school where, you know, you can strive and you can get the experience that you wouldn't have gotten if you stayed at home.
100%. No, I completely agree. I think you need to figure out what's really important to you. We get this question all the time. My answer to this question, though, usually, is playing is great. Like, you can go to a college right away, and if you can play, that's fantastic. You're not really going to lose from that, right?
No.
You're getting granted game time, and that's what you're there for. The return on investment for your time spent at that college, you're getting a great return from that. The other side of it is that if you go to a really, really strong sporting program and the coach looks you in the eye and says, we've got seniors in our team this year, you're not going to get starting time, but come develop at our program for a year, and then when they graduate, you have got a starting spot and you're going to be that much better compared to playing at a lower level. And that's something that I also believe in. But again, it comes down to, do you trust a coach? Like, if Brad Franks, the assistant coach from the University of Denver program, who said that my banter is really poor on his podcast, Brad, I'm coming for you, mate. If he says to me, Amrit, look, like, we have got a full stack of seniors at the moment. Rona might be one of them. We really want one of your players, but they're going to get minimal game time in year one, but in year two, they'll walk their way into a better program. Would I endorse my athlete to go to that 100%. Program? Absolutely, I would, because they produce professional athletes. They're a man of their word. They've got integrity. They've got loyalty. I've got a great relationship with them, and I 100% would do that in a heartbeat. I would advise anyone to do that for that program. Other programs, I'm not so sure, because I need to know who the coach is. I need to have those relationships with them, right? So if you know that coach that's offering you an opportunity to sit on the bench, but they can look in the eye and say, in year two, you will be playing, and you've done enough due diligence to know that they are a man of their word, or a woman of their word.
You can figure that out pretty quick.
100%.
You can figure it out pretty quick. I mean, we can read people pretty well. So, I mean, if I'm on a call, I was actually on a call with one of our rowers is chatting to a really good school, and I jumped on the call with the coach just to kind of touch base and see, who he was and what kind of person he was. And within 5 minutes, I knew, this guy's legit. He's got the resume. He's coached at some amazing schools. He's produced amazing athletes. That means he's legit. And the fact that I've talked to him now and I understand that, I trust him. And that means if I trust him, I trust that he's going to look after our athlete.
100%. I'm going to name drop this guy. Sorry, I was getting my phone out. So Tim Garner is the head tennis coach at Wallace State Community College. And Tim, I can put hand on heart when I say this, he's one of the nicest guys I have ever met. And we had this girl in Melbourne, and she was a late developer to the sport of tennis, and her ranking wasn't high enough to get her like a really good D1 deal. Now, she could have 100% gone to a D2 program, no guarantee of game time. And Tim Garner at a junior college said, look, I know academically she can qualify for a 4-year school. Why doesn't she come to junior college, pay way less, but get guaranteed game time? And again, like, this is a great example. It's a case by case. She needed to play to develop her game, to therefore land and graduate from a really top-end university. Yeah. If you can walk yourself into, multiple 4-year universities, that conversation's different. But if you need to develop as an athlete, playing time is really, really important.
It's exposure. We don't have the ability in New Zealand and Australia to go over every weekend and do a camp in the US. We just don't physically have that ability. So being able to, find your feet, it might be a year of grind, but that year of grind is going to pay off.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that, you need to make sure that it is very tricky having that conversation. Like, if your dream is to play D1, tennis, soccer, beach volleyball, indoor volleyball, water polo, whatever it is, right? Wrestling, etc. Esports. If your dream is to go to the top end D1 and graduate and compete on the biggest stages you can, but your CV can't get you there, I think playing time is really important to build up and then go again. I use this house analogy all the time. I know you've heard it a couple of times, but a lot of people want to build the biggest house and live on the best street on the water. And if you haven't got the money to do it, buy a house in a different location, renovate it, work really hard, grow its value, and then go. And I mean, this is exactly what this girl's doing. And she went to a junior college, and we had a meeting yesterday morning. I spoke with her dad, the coach, and myself. We just got on a Zoom call just to check in, because I like checking in with my clients when they're over there. And I was talking to Tim, and I was like, look, how did last year go for our player? And how's this year looking? And what kind of constructive feedback can you give? And it was really good. And he was like, we can get her to a D1 because this is a JUCO, right? They're only there for 2 years and they've got to transfer them on. And Tim's like, we want to get her to a Division 1 program. This is what she needs to do. And she's improved a hell of a lot since she's arrived there. So the conversation, it depends on your conversation, right? If you are, should you want playing time or would you rather sit on the bench? If you are far from your level, far from your peak, go play. If you are very close to your peak and you've got an environment that can help get you there, but you might have to wait a little bit longer, that's also okay.
Yeah.
That's my take on that.
No, you did right. Do you reckon to finish it off, I've got a question for you?
Yeah. Oh, we've actually got a couple more. How long have we been going for, Stefan?
It's been 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah. You still got time? You got a meeting? Okay. I got a couple more to go, mate. I told you I came prepared.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second to last one. Social media for athletes, good or bad? I mean, can social media be used as an absolute great tool for athletes?
We've chatted about it heaps.
I know.
We've chatted about this.
We've got a new audience. I think we've got something like over 100 followers in the last couple of weeks.
And it can either make or break it, really. Because one thing that a lot of athletes need to be aware of is coaches do their due diligence as well. We look into everything about the coach and the program and the school and the location. They're doing the same thing. They're giving you a ton of money. They want to know everything about you. So if they jump on your social media and they see, alcohol or any of that kind of stuff, that could cost you a scholarship, couldn't it? Have you had cases in the past?
Yep, we have. Again, no names, but I had a Division 1 college coach in LA contact me saying, if this photo isn't taken down in 24 hours, I'm pulling the verbal commitment offer from the student athlete. And
what was the photo?
My athlete was literally just putting an arm around another person, like another one of her mates, just real harmless, like just posing for a photo. But in the background, there were guys playing beer pong. So it's associated reputation that's really important because you are going to be part of a really big brand. And I think a lot of athletes that play an individual sport, whether it's tennis, whether it's golf, whether it's like swimming, etc. If you compete in those sports, you're not used to being part of a team, but being in a team environment is massive. I mean, look at the All Blacks, right? Like one small foot that they put wrong, they're out of the team.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's so many cases of it.
Yeah, and it's across all different sports, right? So you have to make sure that you are doing things in a way that entices the coach to recruit you, that think, yes, this athlete is a great person for our program.
Yeah.
There's also some great ways that you can actually promote yourself using social media, like playing your sport. Brandon Brooker just started his Instagram account, one of our golf recruits.
Well, best case of that was Lizzie Neal.
Yeah, Lizzie Neal. Obviously, I've mentioned that a million times on podcasts. Lizzie did a great thing. We've had a lot of athletes starting, like Andre Luton is posting, one of our goalkeepers in the US. He's still posting training videos.
How about Harry Eastwick?
Oh, yeah,
150,000 followers on TikTok.
That's not bad.
And that's what I told him when he actually had an interview this morning with a
that's our goalkeeper, by the way. Harry.
And I told him, I was like, make sure you drop that because if the school sees that, and that's what a lot of people need to realize is that it's all about the reputation of the college, and when you join a team or a program, you buy into that reputation. So you need to be able to hold it.
Yeah, guess what that funnels into? 3 letters.
NIL.
There you go.
Yeah, and it can pay off. I mean, Harry got his first,
NIL. Yeah. So NILs, you can get paid based on your name, image, and likeness without it breaching your amateur status as an athlete.
He's not getting paid, but he's
but you can though. They're still talking about internationals at the moment about getting paid, but there's cases in America where students are getting millions of dollars because of their social media following. So if you're listening to this, 100%, bro. Like if you're listening to this, start thinking about how you can make money off this in a few years' time, because that's probably is what's going to happen. And if you do have to pay something towards your education, if you're on a partial deal, imagine if your Instagram is so good that you're getting all these. Pays for it, pays for your flights back from America back to New Zealand, Australia, or Finland, or wherever you're listening to this podcast from. It can cover a lot of different things.
Yeah, and it's not that difficult as well. I mean, Harry just sets up a GoPro in the corner of the goal, and just clips up some of the saves and some of the funny stuff that he chats, and now he's gained a mass following on Instagram and TikTok.
Bro, it's so good, and I think it's not the matter of if athletes can get paid; it's a matter of when.
Yeah.
It's when. Yeah. It's going to happen.
And if you don't get paid financially, you can get free stuff.
100%.
And everyone loves free stuff.
I'll give someone free bag tags if they give me a shout out with 150,000 followers. Harry, if you're listening to this.
But no, and in saying that, you know, social media, and what a lot of people need to realize is that the culture between the US and New Zealand and Australia are very different. You know, you could, we at the formals, you know, you might have a beer or something before you go to the formal, right? And you might post a photo of the formal. For anyone in New Zealand, that's normal. You know, that's just, it's accepted and that's normal. In the US, you can't drink till you're 21.
Nah, if you got photos and there's alcohol in the photos, guys, I'll give you guys a free tip here. Go on Canva, make a free account. Stefan's smiling because he loves Canva. Go on Canva, upload that photo, use the magic marker, and remove the alcohol beverages from that photo and post it.
Yeah, like they
no
know
harm done. You still get the photo.
They know that you're going to socialize. These
Yeah,
coaches,
100%.
they know that you socialize and hang out with your friends and stuff, but they just don't want to see that kind
Yeah,
of things
and
because it's a bad reputation for them.
Some people say to me, "Oh, Amrit, you're going a bit overboard," but I'm like, "No, I'm not saying that because I'm saying it. I'm saying it because coaches tell me this.
Yeah.
They literally tell me this. They're like, we don't like this, we like this, blah blah blah." I mean, University Akron. Go back and listen to it, guys. It was quite a few years ago. That's the noise that Stefan's making in the background. He's sipping out of his Kiwi bottle.
Kiwi bottle.
There's your plug, Will. It's Will's little side hustle he's got going on, selling drink bottles.
Good fun. KiwiBottle.com.
Oh, there you are. Am I getting paid for that little bit of advertising? Nah, just kidding. I know you hooked me up with the bottle. But getting back to this, we had an athlete in... No, we didn't have an athlete. We had a coach in America at University of Akron, Jerry, assistant men's coach for Akron. We did a podcast with them. In that podcast, we spoke about social media. He said they offered this guy a deal, and then they found somewhere online a tweet that he made years ago, and they pulled the offer because of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just noticed that the bro Tay was just giving you a call, and
Yeah,
he's
just got
a
a missed call.
great example. That
Yeah.
podcast that you did with him was awesome.
Yeah.
And, you know, he touched on some real great things from an agency standpoint, and that whole concept of building your brand as an athlete, that brand engagement. And, you know, if you can have a good brand as an athlete, you're a step ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, when Will was mentioning Tay Hawker is a FIFA agent for New Zealand. He's got a few of the New Zealand Ferns at the moment, which is great. He's got some girls in college that he's representing. He spent a number of years in America. I think it was like 11 years in the US, working at universities, went to Arizona State, and now
He was a scout for the NFL, like a
scout for the NFL,
yeah.
WWE, and, you know, we got him on a podcast. If you haven't listened to it, you should. And
Yeah,
we
it's
talk about
liquid
social
gold.
media.
Yeah.
And it's about you making yourself a product and make it the best it can by posting really good stuff. You know what athletes should do? Whenever they want to go to the States, make us an Instagram just for their sport. Do an intro video for when they want to go to college. Hi, my name is John Doe. I am 17 years old. I play tennis and I'm looking to go to America in the fall of 2025. Pin it as the first photo or video, post it on the first video on Instagram. So it's always there. And then upload all of your tennis videos or your swimming videos.
Yeah. Put your highlight tape up there, clip
everything,
it up. Yeah.
like post all these different things. Like if you're training 6:30 in the morning training, boom, post it. And then go and follow all the college programs that you want to go and compete at.
Well,
and then DM them.
And they follow you as well. I mean, Courtney, you know, she wasn't even, like, her recruitment window hadn't even opened up yet. Courtney Fitzgibbon.
Yeah.
And she was getting coaches, hit her up on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, were you looking at going to college, all of that kind of stuff. And it shows the power of social media. And it's just about how you're going to channel that power in a good way or a bad way.
Can I ask you a question? You know that advice I just gave you now on making an Instagram account? Did you think that was quite valuable?
Yeah.
It was good?
Yeah.
Good, because it's on the masterclass. Go buy it.
Yeah. Well, the masterclass, you go deep into, you know,
the masterclass goes into everything, bro.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. There's so many people using it at the moment. We're getting some great feedback.
Awesome. We are. And athletes talking about it. They're coming to us with things, you know,
Yeah,
like when do I have to make my NCAA account, all that kind of stuff. It's like, because they've watched the masterclass and it actually explains every little part.
But social media was a big module because I know that you and me spent hours in that room. Stefan nearly saw me throw my laptop against the wall when I was in that studio.
Yeah.
Soul Studio, there you go. Name drop. But it was great. I think that masterclass is absolutely fantastic because it goes through all the social media stuff. So literally, like, if you guys haven't looked at it, definitely go take a look at it. Just go to our Instagram page, Platform Sports Management. There'll be a link in bio there. And we're actually talking to, because it's not us placing them, it's us teaching them how to do it. at a much cheaper cost.
Yeah.
So like, go and do it. Like, why not?
Yeah.
So that's what it's for. But anyway, and that sort of wraps into the last thing, just to wrap this podcast up. I mean, social media is such an effective tool. It can, as you said, make and break you. It can make you a really good deal. It can take one away from you, but also use it to help find out about the college that you're going to, especially knowing the college coach. You want to know, I mean, the elections are coming up. You want to know what their views are on things.
Yeah. Red state, blue state. It's a big deal.
Mate, I've made fake Facebook accounts once to just go on and friend request coaches just to see what they're about. And some of those accounts that I've made, and I've looked into these coaches, I've decided not to send an athlete there.
Yeah. Well,
just about some things that I know that just won't align with their values.
And coaches are so important. One of the most important parts of your college experience.
You can
is
ask
be
a
your
coach that. You can completely ask a coach, like, where do you stand on everything in America right now? Like, the elections are coming up. Like, obviously, don't be like, what are your political views? Because they might find it a bit more, what's that word I'm trying to find? They might feel attacked. But
do you support Trump?
Yeah. Like, you don't want to be debating it back and forward, right?
It's crazy.
But you just want to say, like, what are your political, like, not what are your political views, but what do you think about the elections coming up? It's pretty exciting, right? And just see what they say. And go on their Instagram, go on their Facebook, go on their LinkedIn, stalk every single athlete in their team, go on their Instagram, go on their Facebook, go on their LinkedIn, repeat the process, find out what they're about, and make sure that their values line up with your values.
Well, it's like, if you are left wing, right? If you are a liberal, we wouldn't send you to like a really religious Catholic school where, you can't show any, there are schools like that where,
everyone's different, bro.
Everyone's different. So it's about
100%.
going back to that matchmaking, finding the right program, the right coach, the right location that's going to suit you.
Yep. Nah, completely agree with you, man. Couldn't agree with you more. That is pretty much it, bro.
Oh, what do you reckon about the All Blacks lineup for Game 2 of the World Cup?
They've got half the starting squad on the bench, which is good. I think they're going to let the reserves run the legs out.
Because excited to watch Cam Roy-Guard.
He did really well,
He did awesome in that blowout from South Africa.
Yeah.
And then, there was obviously another blowout from France. The All Blacks aren't in a good spot. So
I got a funny story to tell you. So Sean Miller, one of the parents of, we placed his son Jared in college, but me, I love chatting with the parents that we work with. So Sean's from South Africa. So on Saturday morning, when the All Blacks lost to South Africa, I texted him saying, too good, mate. But he was on the golf course and he had just hit a golf ball, like a really mint shot. So he called me and he goes, were you on the golf course? I'm like, no. And I'm like, why is that? And he said, because you said too good, mate, when I absolutely minted a drive down the driveway. Down the fairway. And
getting smoked.
And he was looking around being like, is Amrit here playing as well? I was like, no, you absolutely pumped the All Blacks.
Yeah, I mean, they did. And the All Blacks got to get out of a hole now. Interesting.
I think, there's a lot of it, like people are saying, the All Blacks purposely didn't want to perform well.
There's no way.
And I'm like, are you serious, bro?
It's the All Blacks.
Yeah.
There's no way they purposely lose.
They're built on processes.
They're built on winning. Like if they lose, they would have given it absolutely everything. They just weren't as good as South Africa.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. But I mean, we are as good, just not on the day. So it's going to be a fun World Cup to watch.
Look, if you were to lose a game in the Rugby World Cup, losing the first game ain't the worst thing because it services areas you need to improve on.
South Africa lost in 2019 in the first game, and they ended up winning the whole thing. So case studies, but it's it's going to be an exciting World Cup, and that shows kind of what happens when you commercialize sport, and that's a topic for another day.
And you know what the All Blacks are going to be doing, mate? They're not making too much noise about it, mate. They're focusing on the present.
Yeah, they are. Look at that. Maybe we do know what we're talking about.
I think so, mate. All right, that's a wrap. If you haven't checked out the masterclass yet, please go and do it. We've got it up and running. We've got some more information there so you guys can take a look. There's also, Stefan, there is some like free videos that they can go check out in the masterclass. I'm pretty sure there is. Yep. So you can go and have a look and see what it's all about. If you haven't followed us on Instagram, we're posting so much content. We did a podcast with my brother, which was hilarious. Also, shout out to... Stop laughing, Will. He wound me up in that podcast. But... I just want to give a shout out to Tennis New Zealand. They are playing Thailand tomorrow. I'm flying out with my mum to go watch my brother play.
As well. So playing it in Invercargill.
Mighty South. So I'll tell you one thing. I won't be taking my golf clubs down there.
It'd
be too cold.
Take your puffer jacket though.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a wrap, guys. Any last comments?
Or take down to Invercargill your platform vest.
Yeah, I will be taking down my platform vest.
Yeah, because that's something that we're going to get going soon, I think.
We need to. Anyway, that's a wrap. It is Thursday.
Yeah, come chat to us.
10:40 in the morning. if you want a free consult, let us know and we'll get you guys on the right track. Easy.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See ya.